You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam. 49er fans need not apply.
What? Come on!
And now it's time for another edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. With your hosts, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam, and welcome one and all for another special off-season training camp edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. I am your host for the program, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and we'd like to thank you so much for making us part of your Seahawk off-season fix as we discuss the off-season for your Super Bowl 48 champion Seattle Seahawks. So sit back, grab a desired beverage of center your choice, and remember, if you're camping, never leave your food under your sleeping bag. We have so much to discuss on the program for you, and luckily I am never alone. No, the 12th Man Fan Jam posse is here from around the world to light our way along the festivities with some knowledge and some camp stories. First, there's my partner in crime, the yin to my yang. He's always a happy camper. You know him as Suffolk Blue on SeahawkBlue.com. We know him as Matt.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful, Matt. Good morning to you.
It's a very early morning here, very dark and rainy outside, but it's fine.
And they call that summer in England, don't they?
Yes, summer in England.
Yes, and our news hound is here to keep us all updated in the news during the off season. He sings a mean camp song. He's known as Shadowhawk. We know him as Will.
Ah, hell, I dropped my s'more.
Oh, man, that's the worst. I used to eat s'mores, except I never ate the marshmallows or the graham crackers. I just ate the chocolate.
I think they just call that a candy bar.
Oh, yeah, probably. So that voice you just heard, by the way, is a special returning guest. He's a lost camper, but we'll take him in, give him plenty of liquid refreshments, and send him on his way. You know him as X-Ray Hawk. We know him as Dustin.
Hey, guys. Good to be back, and the refreshments have already started, believe me.
Oh, that's fantastic. Just don't throw your beer cans into the fire at the campfire. So, everybody's doing well, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All doing well.
Good. We got.
Well, I decided against the holdout, but I'm feeling disrespected without a new contract, I must say.
Well, I'll see if we can't double your salary of free. Yeah, we'll see if we can't double that. Let's see if we can get you back. See, I can double everyone's salary. We'll see. I don't know because we have to sign Matt next year, so I have to hold off some money to sign Matt. But we'll talk about that later. Guy, before I was a counselor. I don't know, at camping, I had 3 years as a counselor. It's very true. Good old Fort Scott. I was a camp counselor. Can you imagine me as a camp counselor? But it was true.
I can just imagine you as camp, and then that's as far as I get.
Yep. In fact, I lost my virginity on the tennis courts at camp.
Whoa,
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving
on. Yeah,
moving
TMI.
On.
Anyway, enough of that. You're interested in not that, but the Training Camp Edition show and get it started, and we are interested in bringing you the Training Camp Edition of this show. So let's run over what the format of this show is. The 12th Man Fan Jam show is divided into 4 quarters, just like a real NFL football game. The first quarter, we'll have news from Shadowhawk. Second quarter, we'll talk about some Seahawk news that has happened recently. And at halftime, we're once again having our play-along game of Seahawk Camping Trivia. This is an opportunity where if you're watching this on YouTube, you can join us as well. We'll put the questions up and the options, and I believe our last couple times, Will is our return champion.
Yeah, Matt and I are tied two apiece.
2-2, and Dustin's here to try to challenge the both of you, so that should be interesting. So we'll see.
A wild card there.
Yeah.
Mix things up a little bit.
Mix it up a little bit. A little competition. We like to have competition on this show, just like the Seahawks like to have competition. So
always compete.
Yes, and I brought Dustin in to compete. Third quarter, we have Sidney Rice and Walter Jones. We'll talk about those two wonderful people who ended their careers. Walter obviously is going to Hall of Fame. He ended his career a number of years ago, but he'll be going into Hall of Fame in a couple of days, and Sidney Rice just recently retired. In the fourth quarter, we'll talk about training camp and some of the competitions that we should see there. You can also contact us, send us emails, let us know what you think of the show. Say hi, you like us, you hate us, share your favorite camping experiences like I just did, whatever you want to do. We're at 12thmanfanjam@gmail.com. The address on your screen right now. Be sure to check out also on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel some of our best of videos. We got more coming on the way. They're just little highlights of the camping music. That's kind of fun, little short versions of our show. And be sure to check out Matt's Minecraft videos on the Suffolk Blue YouTube channel. Matt, you want to talk a little bit about that? You go on Minecraft and kind of tear it up?
Yeah, we just go and build shit. It's great.
Yeah. So if you like building shit, go to Suffolk
This
Blues.
game's for you.
This is for you. All right. Enough games. Let's get right on with the news. Yes, news from around the NFL world in case you were too busy out camping and getting lost in the woods looking for Bigfoot. Shadowhawk Will has the news for you. Evening, Will. What you got for us this evening?
Well, Moses, as you know, the Bears-Packers rivalry is the oldest active rivalry in the NFL, but Packers coach Mike McCarthy may have taken it to a new level recently. He and his family recently took in a flight in a World War II-era B-17 bomber last week. It was a fun family outing. He was joined by his wife's grandfather, who flew B-17s during the war. During that flight, however, McCarthy said, "All right, let's go bomb Chicago."
Oh, no.
So if Chicago disappears in a mushroom cloud, we know whom to blame.
Wow.
You know what I thought this story was? I didn't know this story, but you know what I thought it was going to go? I think it was
What's
saying
that?
they went out in the woods and started like shooting bears from the plane or something.
Thankfully, no dead animals. Just joking about killing millions of humans. So that's
Yeah, really.
acceptable.
It's a lot funnier. But, no killing animals, but killing all the people in Chicago. Well, I bet that went over extremely well in Chicago.
Would have been an upgrade.
Oh, I'm guessing there are a few pissed off Bears fans right about now, but they're Bear fans. They're bound to be pissed off anyway.
That's
They're
mostly
angry at
about Jay
everything.
Cutler, though.
Yeah, really.
Very true.
Oh my God, let's go bomb Chicago. That's hysterical. But you said that's what families like to do for fun. I know I like to take my family and put them in a B-17 and just take them up in the air. They love that. They love it. Come on, kids. It's going to be 17. Family affair.
Yeah, it's
I would have
pull
liked
out
it.
of the garage and take
That was
off.
amazing. I've been in a Lancaster here in the UK when they've like just turned the engines on and had the engines running. And I remember as a kid we were just sitting in this Lancaster bomber with all the engines running. Good gracious, that was exciting.
Very cool. Very cool. And Grandpa was flying?
No, he wasn't flying. He's 96 years old.
No, I was
he,
gonna
was,
say,
he was along for the ride.
Come on, Gramps. Get behind the wheel, man. We're going to bomb Chicago. Let's do this.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Maybe they could swing by San Francisco on the way back.
Yeah.
It's the detour.
Oh, they could bomb like the what is it? The Walmart Slacks division. So Harbaugh didn't have anything to wear anymore. All right, enough bombing Chicago. I love it. Let's bomb Chicago. Oh my God, what else you got, Will?
Well, Titans rookie quarterback Zach Mettenberger has yet to play a down in the NFL, but he's already a big hit. Or at least he suffered a big hit. Recently, he was out at an establishment called Loser's Most Wanted Bar and Grill, which
Is that in San Francisco?
no, it's not, but it should be. And just judging by the name, you knew something was going to go wrong.
Could you tell us that name again?
Loser's Most Wanted Bar and Grill.
Loser's Most Wanted Bar. Beautiful.
So it's nice to see Colin Kaepernick branching out and doing some investment.
God, I need a T-shirt. All I know is I need a T-shirt.
So anyway, Mettenberger, who played for LSU, was at this fine establishment when a guy came up to him and yelled, "Roll Tide." Zach turned around and said, "Good luck with that." And his friend sucker punched Zach Mettenberger right in the face.
Yep.
Oh, you loser.
Oh,
Most wanted.
So the man was apprehended, but neither Mettenberger nor the bar owner is planning on pressing charges.
they The cops came to the bar, arrested, put him in handcuffs, and looked at us and said, you just belong here. Here, just go back in. Just go in to lose.
Well, playing for the Titans, he needs to get used to getting decked a few times a game.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, Losers Most Wanted Bar and Grill. I have got to get a T-shirt of that place. Oh my God, that's fantastic. It's there it is in Nashville. Here it is.
I'm reading this on one of Yahoo Sports. It's actually quite funny because they get a quote from the bar owner who says, "I promise you that Mettenberger did not throw a punch. He didn't do anything. The guy sucker punched him in the eye, back to bottom line, and the guy that punched him started running out the door. My door guys had to chase him down." They always sign him up for a big cornerback.
Yeah, the bar owner went on to say, "I know everyone is trying to provoke someone who's a moving billboard, country music, rappers, football players, whatever. Everybody's trying to push somebody's buttons. Here's a tip, hire a bouncer."
Would you want to work at Losers?
Well, I'm sure you could find steady work if you were a bouncer.
Supposedly they have live music. It is in Nashville, but I know people are desperate in Nashville to make money, especially with music. But really, if I got a gig, I'm playing the Losers Most Wanted Bar and Grill. I don't know if that's really a place you'd want to be known for.
It sounds
playing.
like a place Dalton from Roadhouse would be bouncing in. That's what it sounds like.
It does. Oh my God!
How'd you like to have to tell that to a prospective date? So where do you work? Oh yeah, just down at Losers. Oh, really?
What about, I was thinking about that, not just to tell them, but how would you like to take them there? Hey, honey, let's go to Losers. Oh, I knew my prince had come when he took me to Losers Bar and Grill. Oh, my God. Woo! I don't know how your third one's going to top those, but what's your final story tonight, Will?
Well, Browns fans still hold a grudge against Art Modell, even though he's dead. One took it a little too far, unfortunately.
Sorry.
Recently, an unidentified Browns fan calling himself Mr. Browns Fan for Life, very original, made a video of himself pissing on the grave of former Browns-Ravens owner Art Modell.
What? Oh, God. You got to be kidding me.
He posted the video on YouTube, which has since taken it down, but apparently Deadspin still has a copy.
Oh, my God.
Which was not a very smart move because that kind of thing is not exactly legal.
Yeah.
Was this just Johnny Manziel on one of his nights out?
It could have been, Matt.
Wow. I know where this guy needs to spend his evenings, at the Losers Bar and Grill.
There you go.
There's a Browns fan and posts videos of him pissing on graves on YouTube. He makes a lot of good life decisions.
God.
Basically, the Motel family and the cemetery are both investigating whether they can press charges.
He makes a ton of great life decisions. That's a great line, Dustin.
Thanks. How do you
That
investigate
pretty much
that,
covers it.
Yeah, I don't understand what's there to investigate. The video's on YouTube. I mean, are you looking for the yellow grass circle next to the grave to be sure? DNA test the grass?
Well, unfortunately, the police hired the same tester that did Richard Sherman's sample a couple of years ago. So the test was contaminated, so they lost some evidence there.
It's just going to be one of those situations where the camera's going to pan up at some point, and it is going to be Johnny Manziel, isn't it? It's just going to be the perfect start. It's going to be the perfect start to his season coming right.
And he'll be rolling a dollar bill up in the other hand.
And he'll be going, "Hey, I gotta be me. I'm sorry, I gotta be me."
I'm 21. I can barely get into any liquor store or any liquor pub or joint anywhere apart from Losers Bar and Grill, and so I had to go somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
I could see Manziel doing all three of these stories. Hey, let's go bomb Pittsburgh, and after we're done, we'll go to the Losers Bar and Grill, and then I'll go piss all over Art Modell's grave. I can see him doing all three of these. This is a Saturday night for Manziel.
Oh,
He sounds like a guy that would hang out with Moffat and get along quite well. Moffat pisses in public. He does stupid things.
Yeah,
get along great.
Sounds like both of them would be hanging out in public.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
No doubt.
Whew. Wow, you do not get stories like this on any other show. I don't care if it's actually people that get paid to do this or other YouTube stations.
You mean we're not getting paid?
I'm telling you something.
I'm getting double.
Let's Bomb Chicago You got a story from Losers Most Wanted Bar and Grill, and then you got a Browns fan pissing on Art Modell's grave. You do not get these stories anywhere else.
By popular demand.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing, Will. Oh, amazing.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
And that is the end of the first quarter. We can't go on. We need a break. I need to take a breath. This has been an amazing start to an amazing show. Holy cow, Will. Thank you is not enough. Those were 3 of the best stories I think we've ever had.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to take a quick station identification, and we will be back shortly with the start of the second quarter.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Y'all thought this was a matchup. Mismatch.
And now it's time for the second quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to take you through the second quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you again, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. We're back for the second quarter of this special training camp edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. I am your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, and we are joined this evening by Dustin, by Will, and by Matt. And if you missed the first quarter, you need to go back and listen, because those 3 are the best stories I've ever heard in my life. But we are moving on to Seahawk news this second quarter, and big Seahawk news right now involves training camp, which just opened on the 25th of July. By the time you're hearing this, they probably will have a day or 2 under their training camp hats as they get ready for the upcoming season. A lot of excitement about that. We're going to spend the fourth quarter talking about competitions in training camp and different positions and new guys and positions that may be interesting for training camp. But what we're going to spend the second quarter talking about is obviously the biggest news out of Seattle in the last couple of days for the Seahawks, and that is with Marshawn Lynch and in his current situation. Will, if you wouldn't mind kind of enlightening us, if we've been completely out of the loop, what's going on with Marshawn?
Well, Marshawn Lynch is set to enter the 3rd year of the 4-year, $30 million contract he signed before the 2012 season. The guaranteed money of the contract has all been paid. And he is set to make $5.5 million, I believe, this year, which for a running back, especially in today's NFL, is pretty good. But among the top tier running backs, puts him, probably about 4th, 5th with Jamal Charles' new deal. And he wants more money, and he believes he's earned it, and he is feeling disrespected that the team has not given him more money when they have given big contracts to Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, and Michael Bennett, and he wants his money. He's about that cash, boss.
About that cash, boss. How does this make you feel, Dustin? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm a little disappointed he's holding out, but I understand why. I mean, he was a guy that he was one of the first people that they actually paid the money to keep around a couple years ago. So I don't understand the jealousy angle of what happened with Sherman and Thomas and those guys in Cam last year getting contracts, but he was the first. Now that it's been a couple years, he decides it's not good enough and he wants more money. The thing is, though, those contracts are like a computer or a car or something like that. As soon as it comes off the lot, it's depreciated and somebody else has something better the second you walk away. I mean, Sherman's contract, he was the highest paid cornerback in the league for what, a day, 2 days? And then a new contract come out, and that's just the nature of the business. So I don't like that he's putting these restraints on the team. It puts him in a bad spot because we need that guy. He needs to be there. He's kind of the heart and soul of the offense, and he was the guy that brought the toughness to the team. And I want him there. Now, all that being said, 28 years old. He's probably not going to be on the team next year anyways. So I understand from both sides. I see where he's coming from because this is his last chance to make some money before he leaves the NFL. So I'm a little torn about how I feel, but I just wish he was there. I mean, Vernon Davis, he wants another contract, but he's actually in training camp while they're working on that. I'd much prefer that type of situation where Lynch is there. He's not going to do much anyways because he doesn't really do a whole lot in the preseason, and just be there with the team and negotiate the contract that way. That's what I would prefer to see.
Matt, if this drags on, do you think this will go on to the regular season?
Yes, almost certainly. I mean, look, again, and I say this, I love Marshawn Lynch. I think he's a fantastic player. I understand entirely his reasons for doing what he's doing. As Dustin's just said, it is almost in my mind a certainty that he will not be with us next year. If he didn't make a stand now, the question is when. And to be fair, he doesn't have any more time left. This is his only chance to make a stand because, as I said, he probably won't be with us next year. And this is a big thing that I think us fans have to start getting in our heads. Is that the players that we've sort of lent on and said the core of our offense, the core of this team, the heart and soul of this team. This is change. This is what happens, and this is the business of football. And we hear it a lot. We hear when players like the Golden Tate, when he was leaving and going over to the Lions, we heard it's just a business. It's a business decision, and that's exactly what this is. Now, what effect will that have on the team? I think everyone on the team almost certainly knew that he was going to do this. To be fair, if Michael Robinson knew before any of Mike Silver's sources that he was going to do it. I think, to be fair, I think probably Pete Carroll and John Schneider knew that he was going to do it. I don't think there was any doubt there either. And what effect does it have? I think the effect it has is it means that Christine Michael and Turban will have more carries, more opportunity to grow in the position, ready to replace him. And I think that can really only be good for us, to be fair, because next year he won't be there.
So, so are you saying now? You said that Pete and Schneider may have known this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's why at the town meeting they brought the old running back by committee line out? If they knew, then they kind of said that to kind of set people up.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know whether it's worth thinking about. But then I can't blame them for taking the line that they're taking, which is, look, you signed a contract, but. As Will will come on, I'm not going to steal Will's thunder. There's this contract business goes both ways in the NFL, all right? And players have to feel valued. We've just signed some enormous deals with players, absolutely enormous deals. And I can understand how a player who sort of went first in that round of big deals might now feel a little put out with the fact that his salary is sort of devalued when you compare it against those big deals that we've just made. But that's do you know what the sad thing is? You're a running back, Marshawn. I'm really sorry, you're a running back. The highest free agent was what, 3.5 million this year?
Yep.
So, what are you asking for? What do you want to stamp your feet for? You want to get paid, I get that. If I was Pete Carroll, if I was John Schneider, I would turn around and say, I tell you what, I will guarantee for you now next year's salary, or a part of your next year's salary if you come and play for this year, because they also know he's not going to be here next year. Do you know? I mean, it's sad, but if he didn't stamp his feet and if he didn't try and get more money this year, there is no chance that he would getting it next year anyway. So I can't blame the dude. I really can't.
Yeah. Will, what's your take on this whole thing? I think Will, by the way, writes a wonderful editorial for SeahawksSal.com called 12th Man Editorial, I believe, Will. And it comes out periodically, and he just wrote a piece on this. And Will, what did you kind of summarize in that piece, what you said?
Well, the point Matt makes about the running back position, not being highly valued is true, but Lynch is a special player to this team, and he has been for a while. And this team has gone out of its way to praise Lynch over the years and point out that he is kind of the embodiment of what they want to get here. But it's a tricky business because, some people say, oh, the player should honor the contract. But on the other hand, teams can release players from contracts, and they're going to probably release Lynch from the last year of his. That's the trade-off that players have made in their collective bargaining, where they don't have guaranteed contracts, but they get bonus money up front. So it's not an easy situation. I mean, I think the most important thing is I think this team has to make some sort of a gesture, even if it's not what Lynch wants, but just say, look, come into camp. We'll negotiate in good faith. We will do what we can, because you don't want this turning ugly. You don't want Lynch starting to threaten retirement. you don't want to cause any schism between Lynch and the team at this point. So I think both sides have kind of gotten off on the wrong foot here, but just be smart, keep working at it, and I think this will get resolved.
So it sounds like, I don't know if all of you, but it sounds like most of you are under the impression, and I'm just playing devil's advocate because that's what I like to do, play devil's advocate. And it sounds to me like you're saying that this team would suffer greatly without 24 in the backfield.
No.
And so my question is, what happens if he doesn't play this year? Are we doomed, or can we survive this as a team?
I don't know about that because Brandon Browner kind of set the physical tone for the Legion of Boom. And when Byron Maxwell came up, there was really no drop off. So I think that there's potential to have a drop off there, and it could be bad, but we haven't really seen Michael play that much. So you never know. He might come in and impress just like Maxwell did.
Well, it's a thing. I mean, you're going from a known quality to a question mark. I mean,
Right.
One thing Michael Robinson said on NFL Network today is that his friends on the 49ers have told him that Lynch is the one player that they fear going up against. And then you lose that. And and any way you slice it, not having Lynch in the regular season would be a blow. Can we overcome it? Yeah, but we're going to have to shift some things around. It's kind of like in 1984 when the season, not the novel, where Kurt Warner went down with a knee injury, and suddenly we were passing the ball like crazy all year, and it worked.
Yeah.
But we would definitely have to shift.
I think also you look at some of the players that we're signing in. Look at we just signed another receiver this week, didn't we? After Sydney retired.
A couple actually.
But yeah, exactly. So I think there's a paradigm shift trying to go on here to move away from the running back being our key, I suppose, because that's as the workhorse 24. I mean, Mike Robb said very, very astutely and very absolutely correctly that would we have won the Super Bowl of last year or this year had we not have had number 24? I think that's a good question, and I think the answer probably is no. We probably wouldn't have won the Super Bowl, but we're not playing last year's season. We're playing this year's season. And I think there's a shift on the team, or an attempt to shift on the team, into a passing offense. I think that's pretty evident by the way in which some of the players that we're bringing in, and also looking at some of the things that Pete has said. Pete, I have to trust Pete and John. They've given me no reason not to trust them over the years now. And when they turn around and say that our standout player is Christine Michael, I mean, he's our standout breakout player. I haven't seen it yet myself with my own two eyes, but if Pete and John have seen it, that's good enough for me. Would we suffer greatly without 24 this year? I think we'd suffer. Would it be greatly? That's yet to be seen. And if God forbid that he was injured on week 1 of preseason, okay, that's how we play this. That's how you do this.
Right.
And him not turning up to training camp doesn't do anything other than force us to use the other weapons more during that training period, which can only be a good thing when it comes to replacing him anyway, which would happen at the end of this season. So whether he brings it forward himself by a year by threatening retirement, and to be honest, he threatened retirement before in the mini camps that that was potentially what he was going to do if he doesn't get more money. That didn't faze anyone then either. So I think there's again, it's down to leverage, and I understand why he's doing it. I just don't think he has any weapons that really scares anyone.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, and you make a great point. I mean, where we're at now with this team is not necessarily where we're going to be at a month from now. I mean, maybe Michael and Turbin come in and tear it up in preseason. Maybe they come in and they just can't get it done. Maybe somebody gets hurt. Maybe somebody in the passing game, heaven forbid, gets hurt, and the running game becomes more important. Or maybe our passing game looks incredible. So I think one way or another, one side or the other is going to get some leverage as training camp and preseason continues.
But I mean, I don't expect him to get nothing. I don't expect him to get nothing. I do expect him to get something. I expect him to get 1 or maybe 2 million of his next year's salary guaranteed in order to get him back. But then we all know, and I think us as fans, and I don't know how prepared some of our fans are for this, but at some point we're going to hear that number 24 is going to be dropped, cut, or retired. That's what's going to happen. So be prepared for it, people. It's coming.
Yeah. Absolutely, it is coming. I mean, those back problems he's had the last couple years are certainly a sign of that. And he has been taking, and I don't know if this has been voluntary or not, but he's been taking less and less snaps over the last year or so, taking series off after series because he's been beat up. And that's just the kind of runner he is. And that's why we love him, because he's beast mode. I certainly hope I hope both sides resolve this and everyone's happy. I personally, I really, I love beast mode. He came in when we needed somebody to be a leader of this offense. But to me, I look at him and I look at Wilson and I think, which of those two is going to be more important 3 or 4 years down the road? I'm kind of leaning towards number 3. I think that our leader at quarterback, and then, we're going to have a decent running back or a great running back there. Probably not going to be 24 after this year, like you all said. I don't know. I hope he gets resolved, like you guys said. I hope something happens and just resolves this some positive way.
I don't
Moses,
Sorry.
sorry. One more quick point. If you remember, the year after the Cowboys won their first Super Bowl under Jimmy Johnson, Emmitt Smith held out all through training camp, all through preseason, into 2 games in the regular season. They got something done a little later than they would have wanted, and they went on and won the Super Bowl again that year. So
there you go.
This can be fixed. Whatever it is can be fixed.
I was just going to add again, coming back, it also reminds me of the Percy Harvin situation of Super Bowl. No one has seen really Christine Michael do anything since he was signed up. We know, according to Pete, that he's a breakout performer, and that may work in our favour because when we start running him, and he starts busting through lines and doing stuff that we haven't seen him do previously, because Marshawn would be the person normally taking those runs. This could work to our advantage to some respect, but I don't think there's anything really positive about Lynch holding out for anyone.
No.
And as you've said, I hope that Pete and John turn around and say, okay, dude, this is some money from your guarantee for the next year, but it's on the provision that that's it. That's all you're going to get.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Any final thoughts on the Marshawn holdout from anybody?
Kind of not so much on that, but a couple of points that, like Matt had mentioned, that he thinks they're going to pass more, and I don't know that I can get on board with that. Philosophically, that doesn't jive with what Pete Carroll's done, because
True.
they want to protect the ball. The more the ball's in the air, the less you're protecting it. They like to keep that ball, so they don't want to throw it because it puts it at risk. So I know a lot of people are feeling like it's going to move in that direction. I'm just not really on board with that. I don't see it happening as much as a lot of people think it will. And then,
One thing about that, Dustin, just really quick.
Yeah.
You have a guy in Percy Harvin who is a threat not just as a receiver but as a running back.
Yeah.
We saw what he could do in the Super Bowl. So even if, heaven forbid, Lynch is not there, we still have a weapon we can use in the running game in Harvin. So.
True.
Very true. We're going to before we take a break here, we're going to have our trivia coming up at halftime. But I want to kind of change gears here and do a solid for a friend of the show, Mark Ty Turner, who, if you have not gotten Notes of a 12th Man yet, which is his book, go right now to Amazon and get that. But I wanted to share this announcement. He has a new book coming out August 12th. And it is called the Seattle Seahawks Super Season, Notes from a 12 on the best season in Seahawks history. It's basically his take on the Super Bowl season. I am definitely going to buy this. It comes out August 12th, 2014. Check Amazon for the listing. There's a picture of the book that's going to be coming out. And we encourage all you to grab that. Mark Ty Turner is a big friend of the show. And he couldn't be here. I've talked to him the last couple of weeks, and he's like, he's working on a new show out in LA. You know how those LA people are with their Hollywood and their shows. And but I said I wanted to, kind of bring that up on the show this week. So he gave me the details. It's basically him talking about, starting with the 2013 preseason and following it through the aftermath of the team's momentous victory parade. He accounts the season and stories from the 38-year history, as well as the new season, the Super Bowl season. So again, Seattle Seahawks Super Season, Notes from a 12 on the best season in Seattle Seahawks history. Go out and get it. Mark Ty Turner, a great friend of the show, August 12th. Go to Amazon now and check that out.
It's a real good book.
It is going to, I'm sure it's going to be a great book.
Yeah. After
Yeah.
last time I was on this show, Mark was actually on here last time I was on here,
Mhm.
and he sent me an autographed copy of his first book for my grandma.
Oh, cool.
And
Sweet.
yeah, my grandma read it, and she was telling me how much she loved it because she's been going to games forever too. She's like, man, just reading through it, it brought so many memories back. She's like, they weren't all good memories, but brought a lot of memories back. She really enjoyed the book. So if you're listening, Mark, I appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. He's a great guy.
Holy sh! It's halftime.
So with that, I think we'll take us to halftime. We'll take a quick station identification, and we'll come back to see if Will can keep his title of 12th Man Fan Jam Seahawk Trivia Champion.
There's a new challenger this time.
There's a new challenger, so we're going to do
New
that
sheriff
right.
in town.
New sheriff right after this.
Hey, this is Matt, all the way from merry old England, and you're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam.
Yes, welcome once again to another rousing rendition of Seahawk Camping Trivia, the show that dares to take the posse and give them questions about the Seattle Seahawks. I'm your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and we're going to have a wonderful time over the next 4 rounds. Remember, you listening and watching can play along as well. So let's meet our contestants. All right, band, knock it off. All right. Our first challenger is new to the trivia himself. He is a resident bouncer at the Loser's Most Wanted Bar and Grill. You know him as Dustin. And of course, our second challenger. He's a 2-time champion in his own right. From merry old England, he now knows where George Clinton went to college. He's Matt. And finally, our 2-time in a row defending champion. The man who actually has his own theme song.
Oh God, that bloody.
The winner takes it all, baby. Sammy Hagar. He made this his theme song when he won. He said, this should be my theme song. Ladies and gentlemen, the champion of Seahawk Trivia, Will.
Thank you.
I went for the fireworks to go off.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna go get my mullet wig.
All right.
Oh God, and I can see you wearing one as well now.
Maybe I'm
Yes.
mentally prepared for this.
Yes. For the benefit of Dustin.
You cannot
and for
prepare for this.
No, for the benefit of Dustin and for those of you who have not done this or played this game or seen it played, I will go over the rules. Each of you will have a question, and we'll talk about how you choose those in a moment. A little different this time. We did a camping theme, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Each of you have a question. You'll have 3 options, and you have to give me the correct option. You get a point, and then we have a final question that's worth 2 points, and that is whoever's closest. What with the camping theme this time? There are 3 rules before we talk about the actual topics, however. The 3 rules are this. Number 1, no Googling. You can't Google. Can't get on your
So you're just
computer.
gonna make stuff up as you go, huh?
Exactly. No Googling. Number 2, no phone a friend. Especially good for Matt since it's about 4 in the morning over in England.
It is 4 in the morning.
Yeah, and number 3, please, if you're playing along at home, no wagering. This is not, we do not want gambling to be an issue. So, that being said, here's how this version of Seahawks Camping Trivia is going to go. I have 4 topics, 4 camping topics, and our champion, will tell us what topic we're going to do, and then there's a question for each of you in that topic. So you'll get to choose 1, 2, or 3. So the topics are this: archery, fine arts, nature,
What?
and the cafeteria.
What?
So what Will gets to do,
Oh.
Will, you get to pick either archery, fine arts, nature, or cafeteria. And they're all Seahawk themed, I promise you.
Well, I don't have fond memories of the cafeteria at summer camp. Last time I went out into nature, I got stung by a bee, and I'm not very artistic, so let's go with archery.
Archery. All right. Now, Will, would you like to go first in the round, or would you like to go last?
Make these guys do it first.
Okay. All right. So, let's go with, in reverse order here, let's go with Dustin, the new person. Dustin, would you
All
like
right.
question 1, 2, or 3 in archery?
3.
Question 3. Now, and
The
there are,
Russell Wilson
I'm
question.
going to tell you this, there are some gimmies. There are some gimmies in this one, and you know, like you guys, if you've been on the show, listen to this before, you know some of these questions are really far-fetched, and they're still far-fetched questions, but there's some on here you guys are going to know. I guarantee it. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is this. What Seahawk holds the franchise record for the most touchdown passes in a season? Is it Dave Craig, Matt Hasselbeck, or Russell Wilson? And as usual,
Oh no.
we have our organist.
Oh.
What Seahawk holds the franchise record for most touchdown passes in a season? Dave Craig, Matt Hasselbeck, or Russell Wilson?
I kind of feel like you're Will Ferrell, and I should say suck it, Trebek. Just kind of.
Suck it, Trebek.
Let's see. I'm gonna have to go with Dave Craig.
He's going to go with Dave Craig. Dave Craig. Dustin. You're right. It was Dave Craig.
Well done, you.
Yay!
Thank you.
Well done.
I
So
met him tailgating last year. It's pretty cool.
very cool.
Hmm,
All right,
nice guy,
Dustin.
huh?
Yeah.
Now that leaves Matt. You get to choose between 1 or 2.
I'll go for number 2, please.
Matt will take a number 2. All right. Matt, your
Yeah.
question.
If you so much as say, which college did so go to?
By the way, did you just say Matt would take a number 2?
I did. I was sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Matt will take a number 2. Matt, which Seahawk quarterback holds the franchise record for most completions as a Seahawk quarterback in one season? Most completions in one season as a Seahawk quarterback. Is that Dave Craig, Warren Moon, or Matt Hasselbeck?
Pretty sure I know this one too. Can we steal?
No.
No, you can't.
Ah. Okay.
Oh, and what college did they all go to?
Yeah, really. Dave Craig, Warren Moon, or Matt Hasselbeck? Which Seahawk quarterback holds the franchise record for most completions as a Seahawk quarterback in one season?
Hasselbeck.
Yeah, it's like 2,500 and something. I'm pretty sure.
In one season?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking all time.
Should have let him steal.
Dang, that's a passing
Dang.
offense.
Should have
That's
let him
Peyton Manning
steal.
last year.
Yeah, yeah, really. Matt Hasselbeck, he says, and the answer is Matt Hasselbeck.
Hey.
Woohoo!
Oh,
There you go.
Will. They've all scored a point, Will. Champ's up. Are you ready, Champ?
Let's do it.
Here you go. What Seahawk quarterback holds the record for the highest passing completion percentage in a season?
Oh,
They try-
wow. Come on now.
Which Seahawk quarterback holds the record for the highest passing
I don't want to
completion
know about their
percentage?
completed passions.
Their completed passions or their passing completions. The
And
highest
the year.
percentage by a quarterback. Dave Craig, Matt Hasselbeck, or Russell Wilson?
Is this in a season or a career?
This is in a season.
Name the year
Dave
too.
Craig.
It doesn't count.
Now, I'm not going to tell him that. That's a giveaway.
No,
Dave
I'm-
Craig,
he has
Matt
to name the
Hasselbeck,
year.
or Russell Wilson?
He has to name the year. It doesn't count.
Sorry, Dustin. I'll go Russell Wilson.
He will go Russell Wilson.
Interesting
Short.
choice.
Too short.
And the answer is Dave Craig.
Wow,
Dave Craig. Dave Craig 65.6. Matt Hasselbeck 65.5. Russell Wilson 64.1. They are 1, 2, and 3. But
wow.
yeah,
What
Dave Craig.
what year was that? So since
Ni-
Dustin wanted to know the year, what was the year?
Yeah,
that Craig did it?
1991.
Wow,
No
I thought
kidding.
it was Russell Wilson for sure from
Yeah.
last year.
No, it's close. He was third.
Yeah.
In
I
fact,
remember the 91 season. He completed 65% of his passes.
You believe that? And then he was gone. All right, because at 92, then we all know what happened. The Stouffer year and the Ball year.
Things happened.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay,
move on from there,
Will.
please.
End of round 1, Dustin and Matt with a point. Will, nil. So, champ, you've got fine arts, nature, or cafeteria. Where are we going?
Cafeteria.
Cafeteria. Dustin,
Yeah.
question 1, 2, or 3 from the cafeteria.
Well, 3 worked for me last time. I'm gonna stick with that.
Question 3 goes to Dustin. And the question for Dustin is this. According to the Super Bowl 48 Seahawk roster?
What?
According to the Super Bowl 48 Seahawk roster, who on the team weighed the least? Who was the lightest player on the team? Was it Doug Baldwin? Was it Percy Harvin? Or was it Jeremy Lane? Doug Baldwin, Percy Harvin, Jeremy Lane. Who weighed in the least on the Super Bowl 48 Seahawk roster? And it's close.
You know? Yeah, I'm gonna say Jeremy Lane.
Oh, he says Jeremy Lane. Jeremy's a little guy, wasn't he?
He's slight in build, even though he's a little taller than Baldwin, I think.
I'm
Dang.
sorry, it's Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin was
Really?
184, Doug Baldwin 189, and Jeremy Lane 190.
I
Crazy.
figured Percy would be the heaviest of the 3.
You would think.
Well,
Yeah.
you know it wasn't James Carpenter.
No.
That's the truth. Matthew,
Yes.
1 or 2?
Number 2, please.
Number 2. Oh, guess what?
Oh, crap.
What?
What
Oh, I
college?
did.
No,
Oh.
I'm kidding. But your question is this. According to that same roster, who was the heaviest on the
Oh,
team?
good grief.
Was it Michael Bowie, Red Bryant, or James Carpenter?
Wow.
Michael Bowie, Red Bryant, or James Carpenter? Who was the heaviest player on the Super Bowl 48 roster?
I'll go James Carpenter.
He's going to go James Carpenter because that's what the champ said, right? And, I mean, champ's never wrong.
That's what I assume.
I'm
Is
sorry.
Red Bryant?
It was Michael Bowie.
Really?
Really?
Michael
Really?
Bowie at 332, Bryant at 323, and Carpenter at 321.
I want to go that.
Really bad at Final Jeopardy. I had it narrowed down to Red
Crazy stuff.
and Carpenter on
Crazy
that one.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just never know. All right, champ. You can tie him up here in this round with this question. All right. Which Seahawk player? You know, when you go to the cafeteria, sometimes you take a sack lunch, right? So
You had to at my college.
Yeah. So what Seahawk owns the record for most sacks in a season? Is it Jacob Green, Patrick Kearney, or Michael Sinclair?
Michael Sinclair.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Woo!
Oh, he's straight in there. Look, no
My
messing about.
goodness. The organist
He
didn't
must be
even
right.
get to sit down, and he just nailed it. Michael Sinclair. Yep, Michael Sinclair.
That's 6 dubs.
16 and a half, right?
16 and a half in 98. Jacob Green had 16 in 1983, and Patrick Kearney had 14 and a half in 2007. All right. We are at the end of 2 rounds, and it is all tied up at 1 apiece. Will, nature, or fine arts?
Nature.
Nature. All right, Dustin, 1, 2, or 3?
I'm going to go 2 this time.
Dustin's going to go 2 this time. All right. Dustin, what former Seahawk player was known to be a vegan? A vegan. Is that Brian Bosworth, Deuce Latouille, or Cheeky O'Keefer? Who was known as a vegan?
Cheeky O'Keefer.
Cheeky was
I'm
kind
sorry. Deuce Latouille. I'm sorry. The guy that came over from the Cardinals. The guy that came over from the Cardinals. They both had weird names. That's how I
They
got it
did.
mixed up.
Deuce Latouille.
Actually, both of those guys came over from the Cardinals.
Yes, they did.
Oh, did they?
Well, no, actually, didn't Cheeky go to the Cardinals after us?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think he went the other way. But Deuce Latouille is the right answer. Deuce Latouille is a vegan, believe it or
He
not.
doesn't look it.
Nope, he doesn't.
That's an awful lot of tofu.
It is.
I'm pretty sure he was a vegan who ate meat, though. I'm pretty sure he said that in an interview while he was here.
Vegan
I know,
that
it's
eats meat.
Vegan to
I'm
eat
not
meat.
sure how that works.
It's a vegan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I eat vegetables and meat, but other than that,
Yeah.
I'm a total vegan. Matt, 1 or 3?
3.
Oh,
Please.
see now this I think is cupcake. I think 3 is
Oh
cupcake.
dear.
All right.
It take-
How many beautiful, freshly mowed outdoor practice fields are at the VMAC? 3, 4,
Oh.
or 5? 3, 4, or
Oh.
5.
No.
How many outdoor practice
I know
fields
that
at
answer.
the
That's
VMAC?
easy.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know
easy.
because I've never been.
See, I said
The
cupcake.
one guy who's never been there.
I was
Okay,
gonna say,
but
that's just the
that's
most
true.
typical story of my life
Now-
ever.
now,
It's a
Matt?
cupcake for something I would never know.
Think this
Um,
out. Think this out. How many outdoor practice fields are at the VMAC? 3, 4, or 5? Think about it.
It doesn't help just you saying it slowly.
I think he's thinking about it right
3,
now, actually.
Think about it.
or 5?
If saying it slow is not working, maybe you should say it louder. Sometimes that helps.
Say it in French.
Yeah.
Do you want the 3, the 4, or the 5?
That was definitely good French.
I'll go
Yes,
for
go on.
I'll go for 4. I don't know. I'll go for 4.
He's going for the 4. And Soccer Blue
No,
is incorrect. It
No
is
idea.
3.
Man.
There's 3 of them.
3, yeah.
no idea.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Matt.
2 directly across from the berm.
Well, the reason
and
I
one
said
to the left
that-
of the berm.
Matt, offense, defense, special teams. I was hoping you were thinking,
Oh, I didn't go into that much depth. To be fair, it's 4 in the morning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right. All right, here we go, Will. Chance for you to tie Dustin for first place here. This is a cupcake too. What former Seahawk linebacker had a large amount of pet snakes? Was it Chad Brown, Anthony Simmons, or Levon Kirkland?
Chad Brown.
He says Chad Brown. And the answer is Chad Brown. Yep. Had a lot of snakes. All right, we are going into the final round here, Fine Arts. And Dustin has 2 points, Will has 2 points, and Matt has 1. But don't worry, Matt, because the final one is worth 2 points, so you can still catch up. So, we will start with Dustin. Dustin, you want question 1, 2, or 3 out of Fine Arts?
I'll try number 1 this time.
He'll try number 1 this time. See, I think this is a cupcake, but we'll see. All right. My question for
Love
you.
cupcakes.
Well, good. Then you'll like this. What former Seattle Seahawk defender was a jazz saxophone player? Kenny Easley, Eugene Robinson, or Deion Grant? A jazz
I actually
saxophone
don't
player.
know that.
Oh, jazz saxophone player. Kenny Easley, Eugene Robinson, or Deion Grant?
Craig Carroll's in a band. Is that right?
Paul Allen plays guitar.
I have no idea. I'll say Eugene Robinson.
He'll say Eugene Robinson, just on a whim. Just
Yep.
to be silly.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right.
Eugene Robinson. All right, Matt. 2 or 3?
2, please.
Oh, see, now I think you're going to like this one. I know you haven't done it. I hope you know this one. This is about as cupcake as I'm going to get, probably.
Go on then.
What former Seahawk player wrote and recorded the song 12th Man Scream? Michael Sinclair, Grant Winstrom, or Craig Terrell? And if you were listening earlier, you would have gotten a hint.
It is Craig Terrell.
It is Craig Terrell, he says. Yeah, that's an easy one. Craig Terrell.
Yeah, easy. Mhm.
Yeah, it's on the board. And the final question.
It's a good song.
This one's bad. Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you're not gonna like this one. Okay, here we go. Probably the worst question on the whole thing. Fine Arts. What's the name of the gentleman who tattooed Seahawks Super Bowl 48 champs almost 3 weeks on his arm before they won? Is his name John Fields, Tom Buckley, or Tim Connors?
That is really hard.
Yeah, it's hard. This is the guy that did it on his wrist, right? We all talked about it. The Super Bowl 48 champs.
Will or no?
John
Can I
Fields.
get those names again?
John Fields, Tom Buckley, or Tim Connors?
If it was John Connor, I'd go with him because he knows Terminators and they travel in time to know things.
I must break you.
Sarah Connor.
Buckley.
He's going with Buckley. And
The town in
correct-
Washington.
And the correct answer is Tim Connors. I'm sorry. Okay, so here we go to our final question. Dustin's in the lead with 3 points. Matt has 2. Will has 2. But the last question is worth 2 points. So it's still pretty much winner take all. The closest person to this answer, it's a number question. The closest person, winner takes all,
Wonderful.
literally. If there's a tie, the one who's the closest without going over, if there's a tie. Okay?
All right.
And
Go
we're going to
showdown.
we're going to go in order. We're going to start with Matt, then Will, then Dustin in order of the scores. So here's your question. Because Matt has 2 points, Will has 2 points, Dustin has 3 points, I'm going to let Dustin go last.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. It's about Walter Jones. Walter Jones played over 180 games for the Seahawks. In 180 games, how many holding penalties were called on him in 180 games?
Huh?
How many holding penalties in 180 games? So, we're going to start with Matt. I need a number from Matt. 180 games, how many holding
I
penalties?
have no idea.
I'm
Let me think,
pretty sure I know pretty close.
9.
Matt says 9. Will?
Well, Matt took mine, so I'll have to go 8.
Will goes 8. Dustin?
I want to say it was more like,
60?
and it was less than. Oh no! I want to say it was more like
179. No.
2,500.
Oh man, there wasn't. He didn't do too many.
Can I just add? We'll just give you thinking time, just to give you. I'm feeling so much better about my answer now, knowing that Will only went 8. Because I'm sitting here thinking, Christ, if I pick a number here that's ridiculously low, everyone's going to go British. But luckily, I seem to be in the right ballpark.
holding penalties. I'm gonna say like how many did you guys say?
9.
9 and 8.
8. Well, I know it wasn't too many. I'm gonna say 17.
17. Well, guess what? One of you's right on the button.
And it's Matt.
Dustin, isn't it?
And
Sorry,
it
Matt.
happens to be Matt.
Yes! Oh,
That's
my
right,
word.
baby. God
I
save
can't
the
believe
queen,
it.
baby.
Yeah, I knew the answer, and as soon as you said 9, I was just like, damn it.
Fuck it.
Matt nailed it with 9 and 180 games. 9. Matt gets 2 points.
Yes.
We made it, man. That's right, baby. Matt is our new champion of Seahawk Trivia.
Champion of champions.
We're going to take a quick halftime break here, come back to the third quarter. We're going to get back to talk about some football. Congratulations to Matt. And, God, I don't know. We'll be back very soon after this quick station identification.
Hi, I'm Mazette, Moses' daughter, and when he's not telling me to clean my room, he's on the 12-man fan jam.
Jose, come here, clean your room.
Call me Dad! Holy shit.
Welcome to the third quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. So once again, let us join our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. And what an exciting, amazing trivia challenge we had. Matt regained his power. God save the Queen. And the English have retaken the title of 12th Man Fan Jam Trivia Champions. So congratulations again, Matt.
Thank you.
And-
Just pure brilliance on my part.
Yes, it was. And Will, you said something during the break about your camping experience.
Well, I just made the point that the horny teenagers in Friday the 13th had a better camp experience than I did.
I think you're absolutely right there. Real quick before we move on, I promised a chair story, and then we're going to talk about Sidney Rice and Walter Jones. Matt has been having trouble with his chair. If you've been listening to the show a couple times, he's had some issues with his chair falling apart. So this last week, I went to a police picnic, and there were these folding chairs out there by the tables, and now I'm surrounded by policemen, and I sit in this chair, and I've been sitting there for, at least an hour, hour and a half, and all of a sudden this chair it said screw you, and just like, boom, fell out, and I'm hit the floor, and I got 5 policemen staring, are you okay, are you okay? And I just look up, and I'm like, I felt like sitting on the floor for a while, I was kind of bored sitting in a chair, got to get a different view. So I just out of the blue. So I think it's a sign I need to lose some weight, but unbelievable chair story.
Well, they need to spring for better chairs.
They do.
Yeah. It was probably a faulty chair.
It was probably a faulty chair. Someone who wasn't faulty their whole career was a guy who's getting inducted this summer in the Canton Hall of Fame, Professional Football Players Hall of Fame. Very deserved, very excited to mention this. Walter Jones going into Canton, a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer from the start, but you always get a little worried about players that play in South Alaska. Or are they going to really get to know, get in on a first ballot? I was all prepared to be all angry if he didn't get in, but got in fairly easily, thank goodness. And this summer he'll be going in the Hall of Fame. Will, what's your favorite story about Walter?
Well, his training regimen during the years that he was holding out was always epic, pushing an Cadillac Escalade around the neighborhood. But I think my favorite Walter Jones moment was in the 2005 NFC Championship game. Early in the game, Sean Alexander breaks off this huge run, gets about 20 yards down to about the 3 or 4 yard line. And then you're watching the replay and you realize Walter Jones has taken his man and driven him back all the way to where Sean Alexander was eventually tackled.
Yep.
So you got a lineman who's just trucking his opponent 20 yards down the field. And that was better than the run.
Absolutely. That was an amazing story. Dustin, what do you think of when you think of Walter Jones?
Dominance. That guy was he was amazing to watch. He definitely set the standard. And the the memory I'll always have of him is it's not an on the field thing. A few years ago, Arizona Cardinals came and opened up the season in Seattle, and I had field passes for that game for me and my wife and my kids. So we're sitting there watching the Seahawks warm up right there on the sidelines, and I turn around and I look, and this is after he's retired, and Walter Jones was standing right there behind us.
Oh wow!
I look back, I look forward, I look at my wife, and I was like, Walter Jones is behind us. And my wife's like, who's Walter Jones?
Oh
wow. Yeah, she had no idea. And I was like, oh, come on, he's awesome. She's not a big football fan. She just goes when I go. So that dude
Nobody's
is
perfect.
No, nobody's perfect. He is enormous, though. He was a really nice guy. He thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, that's cool. Matt, what about your stories about Walter or your thoughts?
Again, mine's more off field because when the first game I ever attended up in Seattle, the first time I ever went over to Seattle to watch a football game was the New England Patriots, and that was the game when they retired his jersey number, and it was a really emotional day for me for all sorts of reasons. First home game, watching us beat the Pats by that incredible touchdown, and then obviously Walter Jones jersey retirement. It was like, if you can imagine, like Christmas, every Christmas that you ever had as a child, all coming at once at one moment. And it was just an incredible day. So for me, that would always be a very special moment for me with Walter.
Very nice. I just remember when I grew up before the Seahawks in the 70s and 80s, the Bengals had a left tackle named Anthony Munoz, and he was pretty much like Walter. He was just, a rock in left tackle. And before Walter, I think you could say he was probably the best left tackle to play the game. But to be able as a Seahawk fan to see them not worry about left tackle for as long as Walter played, 180 games, we never once thought, gee, we need to get someone to replace Walter, or in case he gets injured, or it was such a non-issue. Him at left tackle was just like a complete afterthought, because you knew he was going to be there. You knew B, he was going to be unbelievably solid, and you didn't need to have, him to needs help to double team anybody. You didn't need him. I mean, it was just an afterthought. The left side of that line, especially left tackle, was just a complete afterthought for years, and that's just unheard of in today's world. So for me, that's my memory. Something that Matt brought up is the Patriots game, and for
That was
me,
Cortez Kennedy, wasn't it? That actually
it was
had his
Cortez.
jersey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but
was.
close enough.
yeah. But Walter was there. And I
Hall of
believe-
Famer.
He was.
Hall of
This is
Famers.
the thing, because Walter was there.
Mhm. Yeah, because we saw him. Remember?
Yeah.
He was right in front of us. Oh my God, that's Walter Jones. And of course, I'm
Yeah.
freaking out, so I didn't even take pictures. But he was right there. Yeah, Walter was right in front of us. Did he raise the flag that night? That day? He spoke for Cortez,
I don't
but I don't
know.
know if I can't remember.
I think
but-
I think
I got,
Kennedy raised the flag.
oh, did he?
I
Okay.
think Cortez raised the flag. Yeah.
Well,
I have a jersey of Walter and of Cortez, getting them framed. I have a whole Seahawks, Seattle sports Hall of Famers. All of them, I get them framed and put them up in the garage. Got Largen up there right now. Gary Payton's jersey's going up there. And Walter Jones and Cortez Kennedy. It's pretty cool. I've really
Very cool.
enjoyed watching those guys. And
Very cool.
Yeah, and they
You
come
should
back
get-
around all the time, which is awesome.
You should get like an old school fan 12 jersey and put up there too. Because it's retired.
That's not a bad
technically.
idea. That
Yeah,
thought never
see?
crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then we could autograph it.
and then we could autograph. It was,
I
Matt
actually
brought
like
up,
that idea.
Yeah, see, Matt brought up the Patriots game, and my memory of the next guy who retired this week was Sidney Rice. Is that touchdown pass that was
Yeah.
right in front of us, which I will never forget that moment because everything was in slow motion that day, or that play. It just felt like that play lasted 5 minutes because it was right in front of us. And that to me, Sidney Rice, and a lot of people say, well, he didn't deserve the money and all that. I thought he did. I know he was always injured. I'm glad he was coming back this year. I'm sad to see him go, but I'm glad to see him go on his own terms. And I haven't seen anything but positives around the internet regarding Sidney Rice, and I'm glad to see that because he was a great guy, a great player, wonderful human being, and I wish him the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Matt, your thoughts?
Look, I mean, again, amazing games to be at for lots of reasons. But that play especially is another one of those moments which just will stay with you. Stays with me as well. And I think Sydney brought, I know he was always injured, but I always felt that he was a go-to guy. I just knew he'd catch the damn thing.
Yeah.
And when we had the whole Travaris Jackson thing, and they, Sydney came in, and it was like those two were sort of gonna one complement the other. I was a little dismissive of Sydney, let's say, when he first came along, and he proved me wrong. So no, I mean, I think it's the injuries take their toll. I think it's a brave decision to retire at 27, which is what he is. But he the writing's on the wall, and when you see the writing on the wall, sometimes you just have to accept it and get on with things. So well done, Sydney, and thanks very much for everything. Great guy.
Absolutely. Will, your thoughts on it?
Well, I think with Sydney, the interesting thing is he was an integral part of not just that play, but probably the other most important play of the 2012 regular season, the game-winning catch at Chicago.
Yes.
Where Russell Wilson had just taken this team down the field twice, and then tosses it to Rice, and Rice gets it, leans into the goal line, takes that ferocious shot to the head, but hangs on and gets us the win. And I think those two victories against the Patriots and then against the Bears, I think that's when I think people will agree, when you knew that something really special was being built here.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that Rice got to be a part of both of those plays.
Yeah, I agree. Dustin, your thoughts on Sydney?
Yeah, kind of what Will was thinking there. That Bears game that play kind of really helped jumpstart Russell Wilson into what we think of today, because he had been close on a couple of plays, like the Cardinals game. He was close. And people were dropping balls, just didn't quite happen. That Bears game though, Sidney Rice caught that ball, got the touchdown. Russell Wilson,
Unreal.
And to me, that's when the legend was born. Was that play right there? And Sidney Rice will forever be in my memory because of what he did right there.
Yeah, good stuff. Two guys that if you have those jerseys, we're going to see those jerseys around the stadium for years to come, and we should. I mean, both those guys have a lot in common as far as what they gave to this team, and class acts, both of them. I've heard interactions with Walter Jones being very positive and Sidney Rice being very positive, and that's great to hear. I love stuff like that. Two really class acts, and we wish them the best for sure. And congratulations on Walter Jones getting the Hall of Fame.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right, we're going to take a real quick break here. Come back to fourth quarter, talk a little training camp, talk about some competitions that may be coming around the corner for your Seattle Seahawks. So we'll take a quick station identification. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
It's the best darn camp there is. I'm the program director, Jerry Aldini. We have some special programs. We're doing Shakespeare in the Round again this year, of course. Our political roundtable, Henry Kissinger will appear. Yasser Arafat is going to come out, spend a weekend with the kids, just rap with them.
That's amazing.
And the kids wanted animals, so this year each camper will stalk and kill his own bear in our private wildlife preserve. But the real excitement, of course, is going to come at the end of the summer, during Sexual Awareness Week. We import 200 hookers from around the world, and each camper, armed with only a thermos of coffee and $2,000 cash, tries to visit as many countries as he can. And the winner, of course, is named King of Sexual Awareness Week and is allowed to rape and pillage the neighboring towns until camp ends.
And now it's time for the fourth quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to lead us through the final quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. We're in the fourth and final quarter of this action-packed, unbelievable, super training camp special for your Seattle Seahawks. And one story I forgot to mention in the last quarter, we were talking about Sidney Rice. In a break, I forgot to mention a Sidney Rice story. One of my favorite stories of all time involves Sidney Rice, where I believe he was going to Switzerland to have some operation done. And some fans in Switzerland just tweeted him on a whim and said, hey, you should come over, we'll have a cookout. And he found them, and they cooked out, and they played Madden. And that to me, I think typifies Sidney Rice and what kind of guy he is. I mean, just, on a whim, these people, hey, we'll have a cookout. And he showed up. I thought that was really great. It's a great Sidney Rice story. Great story we have right now for the Seahawks. We're moving forward now. It's training camp. Training camp is here, and we have competition, as always, with Pete Carroll. Will, what are some of those competitions, the positions that you're really looking at?
Well, the most important one, I think, is the competition at right tackle between Michael Bowie, who got some time there last year, and then Justin Britt, who was our second round pick. That's probably the biggest. There's a log jam at receivers now, which has only slightly been alleviated by Rice's retirement.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good guys there for not so many spots. And then similarly, there's a lot of competition in the defensive line, especially after bringing in Kevin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of players on that group, some of whom haven't gotten much time to play yet, but they will this preseason, so it's going to be fun to watch.
I agree. Is there anything you're looking for, Matthew, as far as competitions?
Yeah, I think Will, as always, is spot on the money. I think wide receivers is now where I want to look. I want to see breakout. I mean, tight ends, I'm still not impressed anywhere with our tight ends on our team at the moment. And I know I keep having a go at them every time I mention the word. But I want to see that. I want to see a breakout from somebody in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Christine Michael, I need to see what Pete has seen. That's what I'm waiting for. I need to feel reassured that we have a beast mode in waiting to replace the beast mode that's leaving. So I think there's a need to see something there as well. Just get through it, uninjured people, get through it, and get into the preseasons and seasons.
Matt, I kind of agree with you with the tight ends. They've been good, they've been solid, but there hasn't been a breakout.
No, I know. Every time we talk about it, I'm saying, well, what? Zach doesn't impress me. Wilson doesn't really impress me. And I just think that now I need them to stand up and do something impressive, because otherwise that's a need area for me. And I think we've got to mix up our receptions. We've got to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want to see. But yeah.
So that's kind of people you're looking at. You're looking at the tight ends, one of the tight ends to really rise to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dustin, what about you? What are you looking for, and what kind of positions do you think are out there to battle?
Linebacker would be one of them. I think we got 11 or 12 linebackers on the roster. And with our Super Bowl MVP, a lot of people thought he should have been starting in the first place. So I'm going to be watching to see if he earns that starter spot that a lot of people think he deserves. And with Bruce Irvin being injured right now, recovering from surgery, I think those couple guys like Malcolm are going to get some chances to break in there. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting to watch. And then back to what they said too, the wide receiver thing is going to be interesting. I think there's 4 solid guys, possibly 5 solid guys, and they're probably going to pick, that are staying on the roster for sure. And then I'm guessing they're going to have 6 receivers, so that'll be kind of interesting to see who gets that last spot, because I think we have 12 receivers on the roster, 13 right now too. So there's a lot of competition. And the guard, the right tackle is also going to be pretty big. There's a lot of fun things to watch right now.
Absolutely. It's funny you brought up Malcolm Smith. It will be very funny. There is a really good chance that the Super Bowl MVP will not be starting on this team comes to opening weekend. Which, you know what? It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. And he's going to get snaps. But, I could see him falling right back in the role that he was in before. And wasn't he usually out there for passing offenses? Isn't that where he usually kind of shined during the year, if I'm not mistaken? And that's why he was out there so much for the Broncos?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, yep. So it was a situation where he was just out in the field a lot, but it'd be really funny. The world's going to say, what are they doing? The Super Bowl MVP sitting on the bench, but I can see that happening. Along those lines, Will, who's somebody that you're looking forward to really kind of rise up at camp this year and take another level?
Well, I've got 3. I'll go through them real quick. Kevin Norwood was probably my favorite draft pick this past year. Great hands, good speed, good size. And from everything I read, he had an absolutely phenomenal first day at camp today. Caught everything thrown to him. And I think, rookie receivers don't often make a big impact, but I think he can. Second guy I want to see who didn't get a lot of time last year is Jordan Hill. Had a lot of injuries to deal with last year. But from what little we saw of him, I thought he had some pretty good potential, and I think he can really build on that this year. And then a guy I want to see is Corey Toomer, because it seems like he's always hurt, and he's got a hamstring problem now. But, Matt was talking about, you need to see what Pete sees. They've talked up Corey Toomer quite a bit over the last year, and I just want to see him on the field so we can see what he can do. So that's a guy I really want to see step forward.
Those are some good names. Matt, do you have anybody that you're looking for? I guess tight end.
Luke Wilson. I want to see. That's what I want to see him. I want to see him break out and do what I think he's capable of doing.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm looking at. Cassius Marsh has, I think, also had some good stuff coming out as far as his versatility is concerned.
Also had a great day at camp today, by the way.
Yeah, behind Bennett and Averill. So I think he's got, again, I'm looking for that. And obviously, as you say, the wide receivers, Kevin Norwood and these sorts of people. I want to see the young guys that we picked. I want to see the reasons why we picked them. But definitely for me, it's tight end still. I want to see Luke Wilson.
Yeah, I can see that. Dustin, who are you looking for?
I think first and foremost, since it's a make or break year for him, and apparently he's down to about 120 pounds now, James Carpenter. This guy,
yeah.
This guy has the potential to be just paving ways for our running backs, but he just has never really caught on. And Seahawks didn't take that option to keep him for another year, so he has to prove he can do it this year. He's out, so I'm kind of pulling for the guy, because if he can do what he looks like he should be able to do, that's huge for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And then Benson Mayowa is another guy. He had a good preseason last year, didn't play a whole lot in the regular season, but I'd like to see that guy come out and do some positive things, get some sacks, and contribute this year.
All right. My 2 guys, I'd like to see what Kevin Williams can still do. How much gas does he still have left in that tank? Because it's possible that if he has some gas left in that tank, it could be an amazing story, him coming back and having an instant impact on this team at defensive line. Another guy that we don't know that much about. Last year, he picked up a ring, but really he wasn't really part of the squad. Jesse Williams, the Monstar.
Yeah.
Let's see what he can do. I really love to see what he can do with a full season, and maybe if he can crack, not necessarily the starting lineup, but if he can get in the rotation. Let's see. It'd be great to see if this guy can do what he supposedly can do, is be just a disruptive force on the line. Well, we've come to the time at the end of the show on a high note. We always do this thing where we have headlines and punchlines, where we take a headline and we bring our own punchlines to it, because it is just that much fun to make up punchlines. So it is now time for our edition of Headlines and Punchlines.
Headlines. Punchline.
And our headlines and punchlines for this evening's show is the following. Training camp is here for your Seattle Seahawks. Did everybody do their homework? Matt, did your dog get your homework?
No, I didn't. Not at all.
Yes, teacher.
See, Will did his homework. He gets an apple. So Will did his. Dustin, do you have anything to add to training camp is here for your Seattle Seahawks, or is it just going to be me and Will?
Well, now I'm sorry. I'm watching a play on the Mariners game.
And on that
Hey,
note,
pay attention in class, young man.
Sorry.
Will, do you have two?
I've actually got 3, but
You
I
got
can do
3.
it.
Very
Okay.
good.
Okay, here we go.
Take it away,
Here we go.
Will.
All right, here we go. We'll start with Will, and you two that didn't do your homework can judge. All right, here we go. Training camp is here for your Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks players look forward to their first real competition since the NFC Championship game.
Beautiful.
Nice.
All right, my turn. Training camp is here for your Seattle Seahawks. The players always look forward to hearing Pete Carroll croon Kumbaya around the campfire at night. He's the singer. All right, Will. Training camp is here for your Seattle Seahawks.
Time for fans to start calling in sick from work.
Training camp is here for your Seattle Seahawks. Rookies are forced to carry veteran players' equipment and Super Bowl rings in and out of the practice facility. Those rings are heavy.
Nice.
And finally, Will, training camp is here for your Seattle Seahawks.
Did anybody tell Marshawn Lynch?
And my final one, training camp is here for your Seattle Seahawks. By force of habit, Water Jones called in and said he wasn't coming. Wow, what a show. What an amazing show we had for you this evening. And we hope you learned a little. We hope it was informative. And what did we learn about the show this evening? Well, we learned that we should bomb Chicago. We also learned that I want a t-shirt from the Loser's Most Wanted Bar and Grill. And of course, we learned that you should never urinate on Art Modell's grave, especially if you go by the moniker Mr. Brown's Fan for Life.
Or at least don't take video of it.
At least don't take
Yeah.
video. Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Johnny
So-
Football.
So, on behalf of the wonderful 12th Man Fan Jam Posse, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Church of Seahawk Positivity, saying so long until another time we get to meet again, which you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Everybody enjoy training camp. God save the Queen. We need it, man. And everybody, we'll talk to you soon. Send us some emails. Send us some of your camp experiences. Send us some of your feedback. We'd love to hear about it. And have a great rest of the couple of weeks. We'll be back real soon to help you waste more time of your life. So go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Hawks.